All right, so these are going to be my week 9 NBA power rankings for the 2024-2025 NBA season. Let's get started. Starting off with our injuries, you guys can mostly look at this yourself. Yeah, then I'll go on to the top performances. Again, you guys can kind of just look at this yourself here. And then I'll get started with number 30 as the Washington Wizards. They went 0-2 this week. Most teams only played 2 games this week, and there were a lot of teams that did go 0-2. But the Wizards being one of them, and they were already in last place, I'm going to keep them here at number 30 after they lost to the Cavs and the Celtics. Then number 29 is going to be the Utah Jazz, who also went 0-2. They're 5-20. They lost to the Suns and to the Clippers this week. Number 28 is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans. They're 5-22. They went 0-2 this week as well. They lost to the Kings by only 2 points, and then they lost to the Indiana Pacers by 15. 27 is the Portland Trail Blazers. They went 0-2 this week, 8-18 overall for them. They lost to the Bulls by 14 and to the Sixers by 13 this week. Number 26, the Charlotte Hornets. They went 0-2 as well. So like I said, a lot of these bottom teams are going 0-2, so they're going to kind of stay in the same spot. But they are 7-19. They lost to the Bulls and to the Sixers this week. Number 25 is going to be the Toronto Raptors. They're 7-20. They went 0-2 again as well. They lost here to the Heat by 10 and to the Bulls by 1 point. Scotty Barnes also is going to be injured for another couple of weeks for them. Number 24 is going to be the Brooklyn Nets, another team that went 0-2 this week. 10-16 overall for them. They lost to the Grizzlies and to the Cavs this week. Number 23 is going to be the Detroit Pistons. They went 1-1 this week, so finally we're getting to some teams that actually won some games. They're going to drop one spot still after going 1-1 because some of the teams right below them also ended up winning a few games. But 11-16 at this point for the Pistons is certainly an improvement from where they were last year. And they're definitely, hovering right around there for the potential play-in spot for them. They beat the Miami Heat by 1 in overtime, and they lost to the Celtics. Number 22 is going to be the Philadelphia 76ers. They're dropping 3 spots. So I had them moved up quite a bit last week because they looked really good with Joel Embiid back. But now Joel Embiid is going to be injured for at least another week with some sinus fracture. They went 1-1 this week without him. They lost to the Pacers and they beat the Hornets. Number 21 is going to be the Indiana Pacers, moving up 3 spots after they went 2-0 this week with good wins over the Sixers and the Pelicans this week. Number 20 is going to be the Chicago Bulls. They're going to move up 3 spots as well after going 2-0 this week. Sitting at 12-15, both them and Indiana tied with the same record. The Bulls beat the Hornets and beat the Raptors this week. Number 19 is going to be the Los Angeles Clippers. They're 1-1. They're going to drop 1 spot this week. Sitting at 15-12 overall is really good. But they beat the Jazz this week and got blown out by the Nuggets by 22 points. Number 18 is going to be the Sacramento Kings. They went 1-1. They're going to move up 2 spots here, right above the Clippers. They beat the Pelicans, but they lost to the Nuggets by only 1 point. So I'll move them above the Clippers because the Kings lost to the Nuggets by 1. The Clippers lost to the Nuggets by like 20. So that's the thought process there. Number 17, it's going to be the San Antonio Spurs. Had 1-1 this week. They're 13-13 overall. So if this team can stay right around that 500, they're going to be fighting for a play-in spot. That's a really good record compared to where they were last season. If Chris Paul can go to this team and lead them to a play-in berth, that's going to be really good for their young guys' experience here. They beat the Blazers this week and they lost to the Timberwolves. Number 16 is going to be the Miami Heat at 13-11. They went 1-1 this week. They're going to drop a couple of spots, though. They beat the Raptors by 10 and then lost to the Pistons by 1 point in overtime. Number 15, Los Angeles Lakers are going to jump up 1 spot after having a 1-1 week, sitting at 14-12 overall. They lost to the Timberwolves by 10 and then beat the Grizzlies by 6. And number 14 is going to be the Atlanta Hawks at 14-13. Had a 1-1 week as well. They're going to drop 1 spot. They beat the Raptors. They beat the Knicks this week by 8 points, and they lost to the Bucks by 8. Both of those games being in the NBA Cup tournament. Number 13, it's going to be the Golden State Warriors. They're going to drop 4 spots after having an 0-2 week here. So for the Warriors, they lost to the Rockets by 1 point in the NBA Cup tournament, and they lost to the Mavericks after that by 10 points. So two good teams that they lost to, but still got to drop them a few spots because they did go winless this week. Number 12 is going to be the Orlando Magic, dropping 5 spots after having an 0-2 week for them. They lost to the Bucks by 5 and to the Knicks by 9. So two good teams that they lost to as well. But they still have a really good record. But I got to drop them a few spots here with their injuries that they have had since Franz Wagner got injured. I believe they're like 0-3 without him. And of course, Paolo Banchero is still injured for them as well. Number 11 is going to be the Phoenix Suns. Had a 2-0 week. They got Kevin Durant back. They got Yusuf Nurkic back this week. And they've been a lot better when they get both of them back. So they are going to move up 4 spots here. They had good wins this week over the Jazz and the Blazers. Number 10 is going to be the Houston Rockets. They're going to stay the same. 17-9 is a good record for them, but I am going to just keep them in the same spot. They had a 1-1 week. They beat the Warriors by 1 point, and they lost to the Thunder by 15 in the NBA Cup tournament. Number 9 is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves, jumping up 3 spots after having a 2-0 week to get them to a 14-11 record. There's like 4 or 5 teams right now in the NBA with a 14-11 record, and I think they're one of the better teams with that. They beat the Lakers and the Spurs this week. Number 8 is going to be the New York Knicks. 16-10. They're going to drop 2 spots after having a 1-1 week. They lost to the Hawks by 8 and then beat the Magic by 9. Number 7 is the Memphis Grizzlies. They had a 1-1 week. They're 18-9 overall. Really good record for them. They're going to drop 2 spots here. They beat the Nets by 16 and then lost to the Lakers by 6 points. Number 6 here is going to be the Milwaukee Bucks. They're going to jump up 5 spots after having a 2-0 week against some good teams. They beat the Orlando Magic by 5. They beat the Hawks by 8, and they are going to the NBA Cup championship against the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. Darvin Ham, is the assistant coach for the Bucks, and he is currently undefeated. Whatever the record would be, like 13-0 right now in NBA Cup games. Last year with the Lakers going 7-0 and winning the whole thing, and now he's currently 6-0. Even though he is the assistant coach, he's still 6-0 in the NBA Cup. So that's an interesting storyline to look out for if the Bucks do happen to win the game tonight. Number 5 is going to be the Denver Nuggets. They're going to jump up 3 spots after having a 2-0 week themselves. They beat the Clippers by 20 and they beat the Kings by 1 point. Number 4 is going to be the Dallas Mavericks. They're 17-9. They went 1-1 this week. They did lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder, by 14, and then they beat the Warriors by 10. Also lost Maxi Kleber and Derrick Jones Jr. to injury for about 2 to 3 weeks, and that is definitely not ideal. But yeah, going into number 3, you have the Boston Celtics at 21-5, second best record in the league. 2-0 this week. They beat the Pistons by 24, and they beat the Wizards by 14. Number 2 is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder at 20-5. They went 2-0 this week in the NBA Cup tournament. They beat the Mavs by 14 and the Rockets by 15, and then they play the Bucks tonight in the in-season tournament championship game. Number 1 here is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers at 2-0 this week, 23-4 overall, best record in the league by, I believe, like 2 games over the Boston Celtics. So they're doing really good there. They beat the Wizards by 10 and the Nets by 29 points this week. So going into this, we are going to look at the current bracket here. So my picks for the first 6 games so far was 5-1. I am going to still roll with the Oklahoma City Thunder to win tonight. That was my original pick, so I am going to take them, even though I had them playing the Hawks instead of the Bucks. But this is how it's gone so far. So the Thunder beat the Mavs, the Rockets beat the Warriors, the Bucks beat the Magic, and the Hawks beat the Knicks. And then the Bucks beat the Hawks, Thunder beat the Rockets, and then the Thunder and Bucks play tonight. And like I said earlier, I'm going to take the Thunder to win that game. But it's been most of these games have been really competitive and fairly entertaining. I'm not really sure if the NBA Cup is really doing what it set out to do, and that is drawing more viewers for these early season NBA games. I'm going to do some sort of video after the NBA Cup is done and kind of like review this year and last year's NBA Cup and see if it's doing if it's doing its job really. But yeah, that's going to be it. for this video here. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check back next week for an updated power rankings list, and goodbye.